Serbia. I am Dilmen from Comparisonator, and we're about to talk with the new era of football scouting and recruitment with our guests. So, welcome to the Moderator, Chief Scout of Tarkan, and Işıtan Gün, former President of Fortuna Sittard, and Tarkan Batgün, CEO and co-founder of Comparisonator, and Cihat Askarov, Chief Scout of Moderator. And you know what, we are entering a new era. Artificial intelligence, GPT, machine learning, and many new technologies are changing the way we work. Every industry is changing, so the football. Scouting, recruitment, and transfers are also getting a new era. Today, our speakers will share what has already changed and what will change in the future with technology in football. My first question is for Tarkan Batgün, Chief Scout of Serbia. He's one of the most analytically minded Chief Scouts in European scouting. Tarkan, how do you make sure the first team's identity and tactical needs are meeting in recruitment? And how does technology help you in this process?
So thanks for the question first of all. So in the beginning, it seemed very important to analyze your team, have good communication with your coach and everything to understand your needs. I'm going to go with our case and for the upcoming winter window, it's better to talk with examples in this case. So in the beginning for the summer window, we unfortunately relegated from 1A and we had to rebuild the team and be ready for the promotion next season because it was our main goal in the very beginning. So we had to make a lot of work. We had to, because we were planning to make more than 10 transfers. So the easier way to do it is using the big data and artificial intelligence. We used some tools known like Scout, of course, and Comparisonator, some different softwares as well. And the way we worked was that we used the data, big data, to create the long list. After creating the long list, like I said, we used the artificial intelligence and all the big data, and we created a big amount of players, in a very long list. Then we went through player by player, individually check their data and use the artificial intelligence to make us understand their place and if they are suitable to the game that we want to play. So we are a team, we were wanting to promote, we wanted to play the game on the other hand. So we were needing players who can be effective in tight areas and who would keep because our main goal was keeping the possession and play the game on the other hand. So in that case, we were needing players who can find solutions in tight areas, who can make the right decisions under pressure. So,
former president of Fortuna Sittard, he has a strong experience in club management, budgeting, structure, and data sportive decisions, and successfully led Fortuna Sittard's transformation and becoming an Eredivisie club. So you know the balance between financial stability and sporting ambition. As a club president, what do you need to monitor for long-term stability before making a major transfer decisions? And how has technology changed this process?
Thank you. Before Fortuna, of course, I have been in football for 15 years. I was the former CFO of Galatasaray in Turkey around 2010 to 2012. And I witnessed how the industry changed because people maybe don't remember that much, but even before 2012, there was no financial fair play. So all these things we are talking about today, about the financial impact of winter transfers, was not even an issue. If you needed a player, you would just go and make the transfer if you find money to support. Now, if you saw a few years ago, for example, in England, they now introduced a new piece of regulation, squad cost ratio. So basically, all the regulations around football are now limiting the spending capability of clubs.
So when I was just moderating, you were using paper, and I'm now using tablets. So nothing is going to be the same. And my third speaker is Tarkan Batgün, CEO and co-founder of Comparisonator, and my boss. So Comparisonator is a football technology company focused on scouting and recruitment. And Tarkan often says that true scouting is about managing transfer risk. Tarkan, how do technologies like artificial intelligence and CompaGPT help reduce risk in transfers?
Well, thank you very much, and I'd like to thank Mr. Batgün for the nice invitation and to see all these beautiful people in the panel. And well, as you know, during transfer windows, clubs drown in noise, agents dominate the conversation, and the technology moves much faster than human understanding. And the transfers, especially in winter, most of the time about a destiny. So, how it works, I call this destinism. Accidental decision-making process disguised as intuition. So, the president sees a player, only one game, okay, buy him. Scout goes to watch Tarkan, but sees Jahid, likes Jahid, but the prehistoric investigation was done over me. So in one game, love of Jahid makes him the transfer. Well, I call that actually destinism. Across my years in football, back in the days in Australia, I was the video analyst. Then I progressed to computer boy, you know. Then I progressed into data. But now there's a new world out there. It's called artificial intelligence. Now, for example, I consider Comparisonator as a contextual data provider. What it means, every single number, ones and twos, translated into human language. Why? Because the sports director doesn't understand it. Agency is managing the player doesn't understand it. So what is it that we need to do? Imagine this. Well, a student uses a GPT at the university. A student who doesn't use the GPT, who wins? So therefore, we all need AI assistance. So that's what Comparisonator became. And well, of course, I am currently the learning of the industry, which industry is now evolving to fitness data. Okay. So I'm not a coach. So how will I understand the fitness? So what I did, I have a very good friend in Başakşehir, Osman Ateş, is a professor in this subject, and thanks to him. And he started giving me lessons. What lessons? Because inside the field, there are players doing different things. So center back is doing different things than a right back or a center forward. So, because I'm actually coming from the field myself, right? I was a former player. I wasn't good enough, but you know, I had the boots for 7 or 8 years. So we watch player, but how do you understand whether this player is fit or not? Well, this is now beyond human understanding. So what I do, let's say there are 22 players on the field, goes up to 28 depending on the situation, and then how will you decide whether the player I'm watching is fit? Well, unfortunately, there is no way of understanding. Okay, you went through a few runs, but it doesn't end there. But the AI component now learned. First, you need to teach something to AI. It's called machine learning. So we went through a process back to 3 years, talking with coaches, talking with transfer makers, okay? Then fed the Comparisonator brain to understand it. It's like you're dropping a seed and it becomes a fruit. But much, much, much faster. So AI is actually passing our own level, and it's already passed. So how do I protect myself as a person inside the transfer? Well, I need to understand it. Now, what you want to get out of the artificial intelligence, you need to be an expert in question asking. So if you ask the right questions, you get the right and correct answers. Well, if you don't, you get a false information. So whose fault it is? Well, it's human. So therefore, I paid some money to the coaches to teach me. Now, Comparisonator is actually teaching me now. We made a button, it's called CompaGPT, which is our own invention, that closed data range. It makes a meaning out of all these numbers. Now, I can answer, I'm not talking about he did 2 of that, 4 of that, 5 of that. I'm able to ask why, how, what happened in the past to now, one player to another, or virtually transfer player from Serbian league to Turkish league, and find the right players for a team, not all of them, and simulate the player performance. So that's where we are advancing. But in the next 2 to 3 years, up to 2030, there will be a lot of things that humans need to be understanding and exercising their own brains through these kind of tools. So therefore, you need to adapt yourself into this new time, adapt yourself into Z generation players. Because if you're an agent falling behind, not understanding this new technology, well, you're dead. Well, thank you.
So, Jay Daskaro, Chief Scout of Işıtan Gün, he has a strong expertise in finding talents, emerging talents, and under-scouted markets, which is never easy. In these markets, data and video access can be limited, and also need to convince people that this is a right decision. So, James, how do you use technology to support your scouting work?
Hello. I'm very happy to be here and to see so many friendly faces. First part of the question is the use of data software and artificial intelligence in our work, and I can say that it's a really big tool for football industry. I have understood this maybe a couple of years, but before we didn't have opportunity to use it in our everyday work, because you know the system is evolving. You have to build an effective scouting system, and today I can say that the use of data software in scouting already prevails in most cases the traditional scouting. I will explain this in a couple of examples. Sometimes I get the questions from colleagues, from some football clubs and managers, how do you find these kind of players that no one knows about? I use data software. How we search but we cannot find them. How do you have any, because you are searching for players. I never search for players.
What else do they have noticed this player before you? So it is kind of a big competition to find a new talent. So it's never easy.
So never look for her.
Definitely.
For other guys.
Yes. So my next question is for everyone. Will technology take our jobs down?
Well, of course not. I mean, if people are afraid of taking our jobs away from our hands, I totally disagree with you because it will be about people who are being able to adapt to new technology, just like Tarkan said. For example, 5 years ago they were talking about this data is coming, it is going to take the scout job away. No, it only made it easier. In the past, I was trying to find every player through video watching, right? Video scouting. And now I am not just fishing in the ocean. I am just like Jai said, I am just having my specific parameters. I'm using the technology in my own good. So I can find specific players for my own need. So
Or recruitment, or this is just a peer of.
No, look, I don't know the net employment effect of AI on scouting, but obviously it's not going to take away the human factor. Why? Because if everything is automated, then there are big investment funds in the world, like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Blackstone, these guys have trillions. So then, if everything is automated, then if no scout is needed, they will just sign the best players. They will also coached by AI, then you don't even have to play the game because you can also simulate the game. That will need the end football, which is obviously not going to happen. I mean, we always talk about risks in transfers, but especially in winter, don't forget. There are also, now I'm thinking with my financial hat, there are also big opportunities. There might be a player that you may not even dream about signing, but he may have a fallout with the coach, he may not like the country, fans may have problems with. These are opportunities that AI can never identify, and you need the human involvement to find and execute these in a very short time. So, I mean, I think this is clear proof that it's never going to take away that.
These ideas, but still I bring a little bit of a different angle. There have been some loss of jobs in different areas of the world. So, for example, programmers, some of them have already disappeared. And in the next 2-3 years, probably 80% of the work, the programming work, will work with still human manual, but to make everything faster, you will need an AI support more and more. For example, right now, a human being cannot measure 270 leads, you know, who is the top scorer, so in a contextual way, who is creating gaps between the blocks, things like that, you know. But at the same time,
robots as fines. At least they will judge based on some logic. You know? It always comes from outside.
yes.
And gets inside. When it's inside the club, it's a little bit, it's a little bit complicated. As you said, the player is perfect, it's fit into your team, but his wife doesn't like the city. We had the cases before.
Yeah, we did too.
Yes. Or some children, they don't like that they don't have enough entertainment in the city, or some other personal reasons. But you see the play quality is good. You see that he's fit into your playing system, but at the end it's unsuccessful transfer because it didn't work out because of some other criteria that you cannot set up or cannot understand using data. It's also
it can also be the opposite, right? It can work on your favor as well. I mean, in the morning, we were
Well,
talking.
of course, you guys are one of you in Holland, one of them is
No,
Belgium.
I'm gonna give you an example.
Oh, everyone likes
From
that.
Turkey. I'm going to give you an example from Turkey. We talked about this particular player today in the morning with him. So, back in my time in Beşiktaş when I was a chief scout, we were looking for a right back. So,
You found the right one, I remember.
yeah.
Well
So, this player, Valentin Rosier, probably most of you guys know him. So I watched him very first time and he was not even in professional level in France. Then he was not having any national cap or something. Then he started to play for Dijon, the main team. He got selected for under 21 France national team. Etc. He had great 2 seasons. Then he got transferred to Lisbon. There he started to struggle. Why? There are many reasons. First, in Turkey, when we bring players, you know it a lot better than me, that we are taking care of everything of the players.
Yeah.
Like about their social life, about their children, finding them school, etc., etc. In there was not such a guy. Also, Rosier was the only player speaking French in the whole club. On the contrary, at Beşiktaş, we were having 7 players speaking French and coming from similar environment where Rosier was raised, like the ghettos in France, etc. So I was like, I have seen this guy's peak where he was performing well. Now he's not performing well because of these kind of things. This is something AI doesn't need.
Yes.
This is something you.
I'll try my best.
And just tell us who you are also.
Yes, I'm Stefan Duzic. I'm from Austria, living in Germany. I'm a football agent and also the president of the International Federation of Football Agents. And work with Comparisonator. We are partners of Comparison is a partner of the IFA, unfortunately. And also with the other guys in the panel. My question would be regarding AI and traditional scouting, especially maybe to you, because I know you had a really long list in summer. And
we didn't have to talk.
very often maybe not too much time for every single player to scout them on a like video base or even on a person scouting. What do you rely more on when there is a discrepancy between?
Sorry?
What do you rely more on if there is a discrepancy between the AI, like Comparisonator tells you this is a great player, and you watch him and say, I don't really like him in 2-3 games, but AI tells you, Comparisonator tells you he's actually great. What do you rely more on your eye or on AI?
First of all, the data giving you player grade is, you should read the data well. For example, you enter it doesn't need to be only Comparisonator, but any other data company having an index system. There is a number there, right, giving you an index number. So it's about understanding that index number is coming from where exactly and from which period of the league. Is it a consistent performance giving that index number, or he had some good periods, then bad periods again? So the consistency is important. So first of all, giving you the right index number doesn't mean that it's his real index number. You should understand if the player is consistent. Let's say it still gives you the good thing, but in the traditional scouting, it is not exactly what you were expecting from data. I mostly do like this in my own case. For example, if the player was having a mediocre data and I didn't like what I watched much, I'm like, alright. But if data gives me something, there's something there, I dig in more, I watch more. But in the end, I should be convinced. My eyes should be convinced. My brain should be convinced from what I'm watching. So, I don't give up still. I dig more because the data gives something, there is something there, but in the end of the day, still, if I'm not convinced, I'm not convinced. I also ask my colleagues and everyone, like, there is a situation like that, what would you do? Because I can be wrong, right? Because it's all my subjective opinion in the end.
And then we ask each other.
I can never be perfect, so I can make mistakes. I did make mistakes in the past. It's not all about success and trophies. So sometimes you lose, sometimes you make mistakes. So I'm trying to minimize my mistakes by asking the right people the right questions to understand, like, the situation, the data is good, but I was it's not exactly, so how should I do it, what do you think, etc., etc. There are some cases that I turned into positive. Some cases I was like, no, I have nothing enough. Like I'm not gonna. Okay, the data might be good there, but I'm not convinced. So case by case, actually, every case is different, and this is how I try to find the right solution.
From Bologna, and it seems like since you started in Bologna, it's a big success. I mean, I cannot, because I love you, I cannot say that it's all you're doing. But what were the things that, upon your arrival, changed and brought you a great success?
Honestly,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm lucky people.
Just elaborate.
I got the lucky to my club, so that's all.
Okay, so
AI, scouting. My question is, there are other options for getting the data just, or is just Scout hurdle? You guys use other companies, there are other companies on the market, things like that. It's just a simple question.
Of course, I mean, there are, I mean, about video, there are like certain softwares like Scout now, I mean, in the past there was Instat, now there's Scorespace, etc. But for data, there are many different companies, and now the numbers are increasing. There are many competitors, so I'm trying to choose the ones who is like the more user-friendly ones and the ones giving me like what I want quicker than the other ones, because the timing is for me is very important in this case. So there are many companies. At this moment I use Comparisonator. In the past I used different ones like StatsComp. Way before I was using Prozone years ago. So there are many companies.
Sorry, maybe my question is like, before using the AI, yeah, like who provide the data for these companies? Yeah.
So in those times, unfortunately, we were not having much stuff, and in my own case, I was mostly using the Scout data in their own system.
for